Hello, this is Ivy again. And yesterday, when I am showing how to use the symbol wallet to create an NFT, there are two other points I have mentioned. The first one, I mentioned that an NFT doesn't have to be on Ethereum, it can be on any other blockchain as well. Other blockchain probably can do it as well. I haven't looked into every blockchain, but I bet most of them can do that. It's just that they haven't, nobody actually looked into it more and find a way to do it. And in simple, we can do it in a few ways, in my opinion. It can be done by creating it using a mosaic, as well as can use an account to create it. So let me reiterate again. What is a non-fungible token? It is a token that one of its kind. As long as there is no other token that is in the same value that can replace the token, it is a non-fungible token. So basically, as an account or any other address that you have on other blockchain, basically is a non-fungible asset that you have. Your account basically, or your address you use to hold any cryptocurrency, basically is non-fungible because there won't be any address, or there won't be any or I would say that like the chances for you to get an identical account would be one in a few lifetimes for you to encounter that. That would be a bit complicated, then we'll talk about in other video. But generally, your address you use to hold any cryptocurrency, you can consider it as a non-fungible asset. So why I chose to use a mosaic to represent an NFT for this time? Now, if you have followed me on what I have been writing, in years ago before the symbols launch, even in the NIS1, which is the first iterations of NAM, I did bring out a use case, a game called Train Your Dog, and I used a count to represent each dog, which it could become a non-fungible token where you can trade each dog. And later on, I do have the same use case and brought it forward to symbol. I was still using the symbol account to represent the non-fungible token of the dog. And why this time I'm using a mosaic to represent it? There's a few reasons for it. First, I do find that like as a mosaic, it's easier to trade. And for an account, to transfer of the ownership of an account would need to have a different method, which I did mention in the GitHub of the use case. You can have a look there. I find that it's easier to transfer because, for example, if I am an artist, I would like to bundle a few of my artwork, but each of the artwork I would like to represent it using a different tokens. I can bundle a few tokens together and sell it, and when I sell it, I can send all those tokens one go to one address. But whereas if I use account, it's a different story, a much more complicated steps that we have to use. That's the first reason I chose mosaic if I want to use it to represent just a product, for example, a piece of art. Then the second reason for it is because creating an account is free. Creating a mosaic, you need a certain amount of fee. Comparatively, creating the tokens in Symbol is still relatively much cheaper than other blockchain. Now, why I prefer it to be with fees? Because if it's no free, you're free to create any amount of account you like. It's like people just create the token out of nothing. When it's with fee, people would think twice how they want to make it proper and how they only create it when they need it and meant it. So that's the second reason I do it. If I'm going to create a non-fungible tokens where have a much more features to it. For example, the use case I mentioned, train the dog, the game, and I would like to be able to train the dog with multiple skills and multiple level of the skills, then I do need the help with other Mosaic to do that. And to hold a Mosaic, I need an account to do that. So for that situation, for a programmable token, I would prefer to use an account. And if I would like to have some non-fungible token that is not meant for trading, for example, I would like to use it to represent my land title deeds, or I would like to use it to represent the diploma that I earn, which it doesn't make sense for me to sell to somebody else, or I can sell it to somebody else, not my diploma, but probably my land, then the transaction won't be as rampant or as frequent as we might have traded a token. So transferring it through using multisig and more complicated way of transfer, it doesn't warrant much worry. So for this tool, I would choose to use account to represent the non-fungible token. Now, as I mentioned in the earlier videos, non-fungible token is not only to represent art or something that we want to sell. It can be represent of many things and many use cases. I can even use the non-fungible tokens to represent permissions for me to get access to a certain, probably an event. At this moment, as what I am doing over here, I do think Mosaic is more suitable. And as mentioned earlier on in just the previous video, I did mention the reason why not having a specific standard for symbol in creating an NFT is not as much of an issue as compared to Ethereum, is because the standard is already preset as the properties of the Mosaic. I probably will dedicate one video just to do some visual demonstrations of what I meant by that. Now, the second question that I brought up also about creating an NFT token is easy, but how you make it valuable and be able to sell for a high value is a different story at all. Looking at Bebo's everyday's first 5,000 days, is it because of the NFT token that make that art valuable? Or is it the art that make this NFT token valuable? I think it's both ways. Even if without the NFT tokens, I bet the art would be selling for that value as well. Looking at many other arts out there, they have been selling for more than that as well. I think things go both ways. Having it on the NFT first is hype, but it's for a good reason, because it opens up another channel for the coiners to understand that investing in art have a different meaning now. It can be on the virtual world, and what it means by owning a piece of art. Just like Metacoven said, and I agreed so much to it, is what you paid for a piece of art is not only about how much time or how much material has been spent on that piece of art, but you are buying the whole story and the whole history of that artist, how much time he has put into learning the skill in order to produce this piece of art. It's just like I am preaching to you about this NFT that I'm creating. I'm not preaching to you about this NFT itself. I'm preaching to you the idea I have in creating an NFT, beating it, concluding the deal, and conclude the transactions all in the simple blockchain in a very simple, minimal way. What if one day you have your wedding and you think that like you want to auction off one of the digital art as well that you make, and you want to do it through the NFT and the proceeding you want to go to charity? Do you want to just go to an auction house just for this? Or you just can create it and do it all over from a wallet like this? What I want to conclude in this video is there are many ways to create an NFT. It's just like there are many ways to skin a cat. Second, creating a product is easy, but how to push it off the shelf is a different story. And the product you create, a lot of the time, the value on it is not the product itself, but the augmented value comes with it. I hope you enjoy today's sharing, and I hope to see you again next video soon.